So this is week 16, or the end of the 4th month of writing a book about the Kent State campus bus service. So since the coronavirus pandemic kind of started going into month 3, or during month 3, work has originally kind of slowed down a little bit, and then it's kind of shifted into what I can do remotely. Obviously, I can't go to any outside facilities for research, getting books or documents, so it's basically what I can do from my house. So that has included moving to starting the illustrations, and then the other part is interviews. So the original plan had been to do the interviews in person, so travel to wherever they are as much as I could and record them, video and audio, but obviously that stopped. So it's shifted into phone interviews, which now I've done maybe 10 or so of them, and it's been actually very successful as far as I can tell at this point. So that's been a really huge advantage to kind of get ahead of that, because there's actually quite a few people, luckily, that have been interested in participating. So I'm trying to get as many of those done. You do a couple a week as I move through this. So taking a look at some of the charts that kind of break down the time spent up to this point. So looking at this chart that breaks down the total time spent per week, you can see where the pandemic basically started, and the amount of time I was able to put towards this really dropped off. But again, in the last 2 to 3 weeks, I have found some new avenues for my time, and I've been able to increase the amount of time I can put towards this project. So again, that's been doing illustrations for the book and conducting phone interviews. So looking at the breakdown of the time that I've spent so far, the most significant portion is research, even though I really haven't added much of that in the last couple weeks. I think I've only been doing probably, less than an hour, I think. At most, I think maybe, I guess I had 1 week where I did 45 minutes, another I'd done 0, 10 minutes here and there. It's been really spotty. So it hasn't been happening very much. So that's probably going to become less and less a majority of the time that I'll have spent. And illustrations and photo editing, illustrations have been taking up a majority of my time, and the interviews. So photo editing, I did find a couple more photos to do. And then administrative, again, that's just been kind of general email. So it is kind of interesting seeing the breakdown. I'm actually kind of surprised that majority of my time is still in the research category, but that'll change as we move on. So kind of moving forward from month 4, I'm still envisioning there being some work to do on the illustrations, at least the ones I'm working on, which is the bus profiles. Maybe another week, maybe another 2, depending on how much I can get done in a week. And then interviews. Again, I'm trying to do 2 to 3 a week, maybe more, depending upon my schedule and how much time I have available. So those will probably continue through the next month. I don't see that stopping really anytime soon. But what may have to follow is doing transcripts of those interviews. So right now I'm just recording them, and I'm taking that file and storing it both locally on my computer and then remotely on the cloud, just as a backup. But using that for a resource for research, I really think will benefit from having a transcript, so I can kind of search for topics or things that people say that way. Seeing it will be easier than trying to remember who said what and what exactly that they said, if I want to incorporate that, especially if I want to do a quote. Some quotes could really benefit the story. So I've never done that before. I've never done recorded interviews, so this is my first time with that, which seems to be successful. I'm pretty happy with the results. But doing transcripts, I'm not sure. I might have to try one out of one of my shorter interviews and kind of see how that goes. And that's about it. Again, research is limited. There is some talk of things starting to open back up. For me, I won't be able to get back into research until the Kent State University opens back up and their special collections has available hours to go visit. So, I don't know, maybe that'll happen, within the next, maybe not the next month, but maybe going into July. Actually, now that I think about it, I think the university announced that they were shut down, at least classes, until July. Now maybe that'll still allow facilities to open up for things like a library, or maybe not. I don't know. So that's where it is at the end of month 4, is illustrations and interviews, and more of that'll continue. So that's it. 4 months down, many more to go. Bye now.